wanted to make an Uncle Sam, and I wanted to do it a little bit different than I've seen other crafters do it. So I was looking at this Gain burst, you know, the smelly stuff you put in your wash. I was looking at the bottle. I'm like, hey, we could make that look like a hat. But I wanted him to be a whole Uncle Sam. So what I did was I took some fabric and I just tore it. And then I'm going to use Dollar Tree rope. So I used 3 things of Dollar Tree rope for this project, you guys. But I cut the top of the bottle off so that it would look more like the top of a hat. And then I just took my fabric and glued it to the rope. So I just wound it around the rope. And I just glue at the beginning and at the end. Now you could do the fabric on the rope, the whole thing of rope, and probably make it faster for yourself. I didn't know how much rope I would need. I did use one whole piece. That could have been I could have just finished it in the red. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense. But you could do one whole thing of rope with whatever fabric you're using, because I did use one whole thing of rope to go up 3/4 of the bottle with the red. So then once you have it ready, you just glue it to the bottle. So you just put some hot glue on the bottle and put the rope right on there. And then what I do is as I need it, then I add more. So you could do it that way too. So I went up 3/4 of the bottle with the red and the white stripe. When you get to the second row, you just do it on top of the other, the bottom row of the rope. So I know it's really hard to see right here, but I just put glue right on to the fabric, the rope underneath it, and just glued it to it. So I went up 3/4 of the bottle, and then I needed to change colors because now we're going to make his hat. So I want his hat to be blue. I should have chosen a darker blue, but I didn't. So I just used this blue and white ticking striped fabric. Did the same thing, just wound it around the rope and glued it at the end. And then just added that all the way up to the top. And then when I got to the top, I wanted to make it look like a hat, like it was flat at the top. So I put one whole row on top of the last row. So it was sticking out. So it was like more square at the top. And then this is how I joined the rope. So that was the third piece of rope that I had joined, but I forgot to show you how I joined it. Sorry. So I just put this one right on top of the other one to make it more square at the top. And then I just started going down with it, going down into the bottle. So I just, right there, I'm finishing off that top row. And then I just start going down. And I have a link to the chalk stuff that I used. You'll see the chalk stuff I used in a few minutes. But I did put a link to that in the top of this video and in the comments. So I just finished off the top and I just wound it in there. And then I cut it off at the end and stick it in. And that's it, you guys. So then I needed to make a brim for the hat. So I used this darker blue and just put it on my rope. Just wound it around and then just glued it at the other end. And then I just glued it where the blue and the red met. And I just tried to make it as straight as I could. And then I wanted it to look more like a brim, so I did it on top of itself so that it was more like the brim of a hat. So you'll see it right here. So I just glued it right on top of itself. That way it looked more like a brim of a hat. And now we got to make his beard. So what I did to make his beard was I just took a tea towel, it's just white, and I cut it into strips, and then I cut those in half, and then I just put them, tied them to a piece of twine. And I did 10 pieces, but I did it twice. So I had two to just make it, see, there's two, to make it more full. Just glued him straight onto his little face. And then I added a little nose. He looks like a little gnome, Uncle Sam. Added dots to his nose. Why? I don't know, because it's cute. And then I took one of our white tags, and I wanted to make it look more like wood, like dark wood. So I just used some acrylic paint and stained it. So I used a baby wipe. And then I put 1776 on it, just using our white chalk, our bright white chalk. And I made a bow using my bow Dabra. And then I just sanded the 1776. I wanted to make it look a little old. And then I used my ink pad on the edges of it. And I just tied it straight to the bow. And then I, of course, embellished it. I had these little stars, and I added them to the bow. I added some red pip berries, and I added some, it looks like Sweet Annie, but it's not. So you have to let me know what you think. Is this something that you'll try? I've done this a number of times with the rope and the fabric, and I really like it. I used the bottle because I thought it looked like it could be a hat. I don't know. Does it look like an Uncle Sam? Let me know what you think. Hit that like button. Make sure you're following me. And if you like this and you think your friends will like it, hit that share button for me. Thanks, guys.